How we doing tonight? Woo! All right. How many of you were here Saturday? Anybody here Saturday? Yeah, we had terrific reading here. Some of you, we also had an Asian American activist panel at McAllister, what was it, last Tuesday? Yeah. So, 3 Asian American events in a week. Great. I'm old enough and I came here long ago enough that I remember when there were no, I'd go to like anywhere and there were very few or no Asian Americans. So to get to a point where we can have an audience like this for an Asian American panel on arts and activism is just really heartening for me. These series of conversations that I'm having, this is the second of 4. The next one is going to be on July 10th. And that's with my good friend Alex Pate. And we're going to be talking over the issues of Asian American, African American relationships, our issues about us being artists, the work Alex is doing with his amazing innovative program, The Innocent Classroom, which is designed to address the racial achievement gap in American education by training teachers to improve their relationships with students of color. It's an amazing program. Later in October, we're going to have a panel of Native American and Latino American artists and activists. One of the reasons why I had this idea for these panels is I just wanted to hear and talk in a public conversations with a lot of these artists and activists whom I really admire and I know who are really bright and insightful and have done a lot of significant work in the community. Ananya Chatterjea is a dancer, a choreographer, a dance scholar, a dance educator, and she envisions her work in the field of dance as a call to action with a particular focus on women artists of color. She's the artistic director of Ananya Dance Theater, a dance company of women artists who believe in the powerful intersection of artistic excellence and social justice. Ananya is associate professor in the Department of Theater Arts and Dance and director of the Dance, the University of Minnesota. Her book, Budding Out, Reading Cultural Politics in the Work, I'm going to mangle this. Thank you. Was published by Wesleyan University in 2004. She's won numerous awards, including a McKnight Foundation Fellowship, a Jerome Foundation Fellowship, and a Guggenheim Foundation Fellowship. Bao Phi, at the end, is the author of the poetry collection Song I Sing. Phi has been a 2-time Minnesota Grand Slam champion and National Poetry Slam finalist. He's appeared on the HBO series Russell Simmons Presents Deaf Poetry. His work has been featured in Best American Poetry, Screaming Monkeys, Spoken Word Revolution, Redux. In the Best American Poetry, it's one of my favorite poems about a bunch of Asian Americans racing cars. It's in his book. It's a terrific poem. Bao also works at the Loft Literary Center, and his series Equilibrium recently won the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits Anti-Racism Initiative Award. Linda Harris, Associate Director of Asian American Organization, of the Asian American Organizing Project. She's a Hmong American, queer feminist writer, poet, and she has extensive experiences on community organizing, on LGBTQ and racial justice. And she's worked in different ranges of social justice issues, civic engagements, political campaigns, committees, and nonprofit organizations. One of the reasons why I wanted Linda here is because she's been an integral member of the Don't Buy Miss Saigon Coalition, which has really been a key issue for the Asian American artistic community in the last year. And she and Susan Kikuchi have been working tirelessly to assemble a toolkit for the work the coalition did as activists in order to help activists elsewhere, because unfortunately Ms. Saigon is probably going to go elsewhere in the country to conduct activist activities against Ms. Saigon. So before I just have just a few brief remarks I want to make, and I'll make them very quickly. One is, I recognize that Asian American, and we all recognize it's a sort of unwieldy term. If you look at the umbrella that it covers, it in certain ways just seems unwieldy at best, nonsensical at worst. But at the same time, it's a term I love. Because without that term, we wouldn't have this panel, we wouldn't have this group here. And I remember years ago when we started this arts organization, Asian American Renaissance, we had the poets Lee Young Lee, Marilyn Chin, Garrett Hungo, and I were sitting at breakfast. And Marilyn was pointing out about how she came from peasant stock, Lee Young came from an aristocratic family, they were Chinese, we were Japanese, and probably back in Asia we would never have gotten together. We would probably be enemies or certainly see no connection with each other. And here we were sitting around as friends, artistic colleagues. So I love the way that it actually allows us to do certain things politically, because some of us come from very small numerical communities, and sometimes the only way to get the powers to be to listen to the issues that we face is through banding together. The other thing about it is I think of the term Asian American as a field of inquiry. Partly it's cultural. Some, either ourselves, our parents, our grandparents, sometimes for certain Asian Americans it's 7 or 8 generations back, came from a country in Asia. So we have a history of immigration. We are dealing with issues of melding the cultures of a country from Asia with American culture. Asian American is also a political term, and it really has to do what it's like to go around in our bodies and be in American society, to be what I call raced. And that's an experience that doesn't happen to us, to people in Asia. And it involves a long history of the ways that Asian Americans have been raced in America. It involves what happens currently. It involves what happens when we go out in American society, looking the way we do, and how the way we look and the way people read our bodies affects our social interactions, affects the way people look at us, and also affects the way we look at ourselves. So underneath it, it's a very complicated term, and that's one of the things we're going to explore today.